being sufficient.
So the debate proposition is infinity's reason for being pro-choice is sufficient.
Sure.
And what does it mean for a reason to be sufficient?
Look, obviously it's going to be relative, so we can say whether or not the reason specifically is sufficient justification or something along the lines of that.
So by sufficient, you mean sufficient justification?
No, by sufficient reason, I mean it fits the criteria for being justification. Because justification and motivation are distinct, however, they're both reasons. So, for example, if I'm motivated to believe in something, I have a reason to believe it, but that's not the same thing as me being justified in believing something. If I'm justified in believing something, I have a reason to believe it, but it's just a different category of a reason.
Okay, so then infinity's reason for being pro-choice fits the criteria.
So are we doing that topic? Because that's what I proposed to Apollo. I just said that
I'm happy to
I
do that
have
topic.
reason to be pro-choice, and then I want you to attempt to critique the reason.
Yeah,
So we're not like doing a Q&A type of thing. Oh, my bad. What'd you say?
Yeah, so I'm fine with the debate proposition. Infinity's reason for being pro-choice fits the criteria for justification.
Okay, and are you actually going to give refutations, or are you just going to question everything?
Yeah, I mean, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to question you, and then I'm going to give a sound argument that the pro-choice position is false.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Eric?
Yeah, so I'm going to question you, and then I'm going to give a sound argument that the pro-choice position is false.
Okay, and when you say question, you mean for clarity, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I love you too, Strive. Is the recording started? Who's recording? Okay, so look, I'm pro-choice, as we all know, everybody. I was in the VC. Look, so the reason why I'm pro-choice is because it seems to be in line with the egoist perspective, meaning it's in line with my normative view. So my motivation for pro-choice is going to be my normative view. And then obviously that's just going to lead to some type of justification off of the seeming and intuition I use to back up my normative view. So what would the critique be, unless it's your question?
What's the first premise?
Okay.
Yeah, you're getting blown the fuck out. What's the first premise, Dodger? Didn't think that far ahead? You didn't think that far ahead?
Okay, so since we're doing that, look, so you're gonna go on mute real quick while I lay out the first premise, okay? That's what we're gonna do, okay? Okay, Eric? I want you to go on mute while I lay out the first premise, okay? Okay, Eric? I know you, Eric. Eric, do it for me. P1. Infinity has a consistent basis of belief he never lies. P2. Infinity basis is something correct. P3. Eric has a consistent background of lie. Conclusion. You lose and my position is correct. So what's going to be response to P1? I'm sorry. What's the response? Hey, what's the response to P1? I'm sorry? So P1, infinity is always correct. It has a consistent basis. Yo, I'm sorry, so what's the response to P1? I'm sorry, so what's the response to P1?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're getting a little question dodge there. Alright, now let's turn the mic down here.
Yeah, this is just atrocious. So you guys are gonna either take turns or just turn off the loud mics. I don't think anyone can even hear what you guys are even saying right now. So just turn off the loud mics. I'm going to go pray right now. So at least someone does anyone have the guts to moderate this like shithole conversation while I go pray? Like, Sean, can you moderate or something? I'm not the only person with perms here. I'm gonna go pray right now. So yeah, I'm gonna unmute both of you guys, but turn
I'm
up the
way too
volume.
lagging to moderate, bro.
Get back
I
to
am
the
way too lagging to moderate.
Fucking hell! Like, if I don't moderate, no one would have the guts to even moderate this conversation. I can't even go pray in the freaking peace or something.
I'm way too laggy to
Damn.
moderate, bro.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess just to kind of note what happened there, Infinity didn't think far ahead enough to give the first premise, and then he started loud micing. Oh, now you are gonna give it.
Egoism seems to be true. What's the response?
Egoism seems to be true. Alright, now what's the next premise?
The next premise is that you're retarded. What's the
Alright, so the next premise is Infinity is retarded. Right, now what's the next premise?
That was the next premise, so can you...
Alright, so what's the third premise, Dodger?
So maybe you're not listening, so I have to turn my mic up so you can actually listen, okay? So I don't think that was the third premise.
What is the third premise? Dodgefinity. Dodgefinity.
I'm sorry, was that the premise that I said? I'm sorry, was that the premise that I said? I'm sorry, was that the premise that I said? I'm sorry, was that premise?
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting, right? So let's just try again, right? We got a dodge from Dodgefinity. And I just want to explain this for a second. So
Please go low, bro. Please. I'm lagging. Y'all niggas are making me lag right now, bro. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you guys.
Yeah, I did want to flag something. So the reason I'm calling him Dodgefinity, that's actually a contraction for dodging infinity.
So P1 Egoism, P2 you lost, P3 Infinity 1 conclusion. My position is true. So what's the response? So I'm sorry. What was the response? Look, so the reason why I'm not engaging this in John, so can you moderate please? Can you mod John? 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 Yo, I can know, do you hear me? Yo, I can know.
Okay, so look, literally got to go right now. It's you guys basically just need to like do talking sticks, okay? Yeah, I'm coming. So let's see, who want to go first? Is it Infinity or Erik who was like talking first? Cause I can't even understand what you guys are even saying. What points are you guys even on? Let's just really get to the argumentation aspect of this debate. Just loud mic and stuff. It's first funny, but it's getting unfunny now. So like, okay, so I'm gonna unmute Erik first. Actually, I'm going to give someone terms because I can't moderate this, and Sean is, I don't know what he's even talking. Who can moderate in the chat? Type in the chat if you can moderate this conversation and actually mic up at the same time. Fucking hell. Oh, Archie can moderate. Perfect. Archie can moderate, right? Oh, perfect. Archie's the perfect moderator. Okay, I'm going to skip him terms. Gotta go right now to go pray. Holy shit. Okay, so I'm gonna move it right now. I'm gonna go pray right now. Holy shit.
Well, hey there. You know, the best mods here. So we're gonna have, Evil Destiny go first. Then after, we're gonna have Infinity respond, and it's gonna be a good faith linear conversation, okay? So yeah, there you go, Erik first.
Hey, how the hell are you? Yeah, I guess I'm really happy to be here right now. I guess you could notice that in the chat, Infinity said, yeah, I'm out. Yeah, you're blown the fuck out, right? Did do particularly well in the conversation. So what Infinity wanted to do, and you could probably notice that he was hedging to try to set this up initially, was to actually try to dodge giving a sound argument for the position, right? And so what he said is, okay, so when you deliver the question, right, let's just make sure here, right? That's going to be a clarifying question, right? And what I said to that is is yes, right? And then I deliver a clarifying question, right? Namely, a question about the argument that presumably, right, he has for his position, right? And then I ask what the first premise is, right? And then, he didn't think that far ahead, right? I asked him the question, and it was just a strike, right, out from infinity there. And then I tried again to get an answer to the question, right? And then what did we get in response to that, right? It was just yet another dodge, right? And then finally we got egoism seems to be true, right? But then after that, he just started giving up. He started trying to give troll premises. It kind of backfired on him because he's a dumb fuck and because he's a retard and because he's been blown the fuck out in this conversation. So yeah, I mean, I think he, tried to troll. He delivered an invalid argument for the proposition, and as a result of that, he got blown the fuck out in this conversation. Nobody who's even slightly intelligent will come walking away from this conversation thinking that Infinity has the slightest bit of intelligence, because let's just be honest with ourselves here, he's been stumped with respect to this point, right? And now what I'm going to do is ask the question again, right? Now, presumably you have a sound argument, right? So an argument that's valid and all of its premises are true, that establishes the proposition that you yourself, by the way, selected to defend as the debate proposition, right? And so what is the first premise of the argument? We got egoism seems to be true, then you started trolling, right? So what's the second premise of the non-troll argument, dipshit?
So, I don't. Okay, lagging. Hold on. Hey, Archie, let me back up. I'm about to rejoin.
Alrighty. Okay. We're gonna invite him to speak. Never mind, Haram SpongeBob joined the VC and flashbang my screen. Okay. He's back up.
Yeah, so let's break it down, retard. The reason as to why I started quote-unquote loud micing, or in other words, getting louder than you, is because you upped your mic after realizing that you can't actually debate me. So what I wanted to occur was an interesting, entertaining, engaging debate. And I literally said prior that I didn't want to do a Q&A. I understand that you're really bad and you don't know anything, you don't read anything at all, you have no knowledge, so you need help and you want me to amp you, but I need to ask and answer questions, okay? I'm here to refute. Sure, asking questions every now and then is completely fine, but I already know how you debate because you suck. You are low tier. It's the average low tier squabble. You start with one question and then you go into a second one, a third one, a fourth one, and sometimes you don't even go into the second, third, or fourth one. Sometimes you just ask the same question over and over again and then say that they're dodging while interrupting them even though they're attempting to answer the question. It's the same method. It doesn't work, Eric. You're not good in this calm. You may be good in your own calm where you have people like Turns and Synth running around, but you're not good in this calm, okay, Eric? So, as I said, I have a reason for my position, not an argument. I never said it's an argument. I said there was a reason in which it's sufficient enough to qualify as justification, at least when it comes to my theory of justification, which a better question to lead off with would be, what is your theory of justification? But guess what? You don't know how to debate. So I'm going to send you Carnati's videos that we can watch together after this, so maybe we can actually, get outside of tier 10 with D1. Yay! Now, as I'm going to say this again, please listen. Egoism seems to be true, and then the backing for that is just off of the consistent accounts it has within society, and then intuition. We don't need talking stick, Archie. He can respond now.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of more dumb fuck comments from Infinity. I mean, I noticed you started clapping like an otter there. You just started stimming around. Just calm down there, Buster. Am I right? Right, so I guess what I'm sort of confused on here is what the second premise is supposed to be. I mean, I've kind of delivered the question already to you. It sounded like we got a few more dodges there, and we got some sort of meta posturing, which I don't think anyone here has the slightest bit of interest in. I mean, you said at the beginning that you didn't want to do a Q&A.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So we're gonna have to do this again because you're not listening again.
Scared Infinity.
So I'm gonna repeat this, okay?
Scared Infinity. Scared Infinity. Scared Infinity. Scared Infinity. Scared Infinity.
Military power.
Scared
So this means 150 egoism, okay? What's the
Scared.
I am enforcing dictatorial control in the VC. It is time for linear debating. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring out the talking stick. I'm gonna start out with giving it to AES so I can hear him stumble and crumble over his words. I'm not biased. Go ahead, AES.
I'm sorry, you do realize that there wasn't a single stutter on my end while they were both stutters
We're gonna
Yeah, that shit was not
Your
rhetorical.
mic was too loud, now it's too quiet. Make it something in the middle.
Yo, hello, bro. Simp, I don't know why you joined dick riding as if I didn't study.
To help you!
Because I didn't.
To help you in this debate. By
Yo, so Archie, are you gonna mob, please? Because I don't know why he's up here.
over the control of violence in this VC.
Ma'am,
So
is it okay, ma'am? Is it okay if it?
I don't know what this thing is doing, but can you please move
Don't
this
interrupt me,
thing
address
in
Evil
now?
Destiny.
What?
Address Evil Destiny.
Ma'am, Infinity needs to give his.
Wait, do I get the response or not, or is Dodge?
Wait, I'm sorry. So what was the response to what I said?
I'm sorry. So what was the stutter?
I'm sorry. What was the response to what I said?
That was the stutter, right? What's the second premise,
This
dipshit? Ask
nigga
the
is so
question
boring.
first.
I'm sorry. When did I
Oh,
start?
you're gonna turn the loud mic back on, dipshit? Yeah, go ahead.
When
Turn the
was
loud mic
the
back on. What's the second
response
premise?
given?
Another stutter. What's the second premise, dipshit?
When did I start? Wait,
Come
when
on.
you got imaginary
Infinity,
stutters
what's
doesn't
the
work for
second
you.
premise? What's the
When you
second
got
premise,
imaginary stutters
Infinity?
does not work
What's
for
the
you.
second premise,
Hey,
Infinity?
make a poll. Did I
That's
stutter,
nuts,
chat?
right? It sounds
Make a
like you're
poll.
terrified of this conversation.
Infinity
Okay.
stutter.
So guys, what's the question on the table here, Infinity? What do you want him to answer?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say it for a fifth time because maybe he's not tracking due to his assness. I don't even know that's the word. I'm gonna make that up. Assness. You fucking suck. The response, or I apologize, the question that I asked was the following. What's the response that you have to the argument that I gave? Or I apologize.
Wait, Infinity,
The point that I
mic's
gave.
cutting it out.
Deep chat? You said my mic is cutting out.
Wait. Yeah, your mic's cut out. But I just want to be clear. Wait, what question do you want him to
Yeah, I want him to answer the question, which is the following. What's the response to the point that I gave? Now, I'm not going to repeat it, by the way, because you're supposed to be a good debater, right? What's the response, Eric?
Bro,
Yeah, anyways, yeah, that was a... Yeah,
I'm sorry, is that the
was a nice little
response?
dodge there. So notice how I asked my question first, and then Infinity is absolutely crying that I'm not responding to his irrelevant derail point. That's very interesting, right? And this is sort of a thing that low-tier debaters try to do. I mean, he was talking about low tiers earlier. Here's something that low tiers very commonly do, right? You'll ask them a question, and then what do they do in response? They ask their own irrelevant dumb fuck derail question that's not actually answering the question that you've already put on the table.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna ask AES directly. AES,
Okay, one,
the
move
question
him
not
down.
being answered, just say the
Secondly,
question out loud.
Eric, you're not listening, okay? I ordered.
You just fucking say the question you have. Nobody wants to hear this for another 3 hours. It was funny for the first half, but like do something different. Just tell them the question you want to answer.
I'm sorry, one, you don't have to be here. If you don't find it entertaining, leave. Secondly, you do
Wait,
realize
by
he just
the
went
way,
on the
I'm
entire
making
Rainbow
it
Fest. I'm sorry, so why was I
Putting
muted,
it
but he's
back
not
on the
muted?
rails. Just ask your question. Stop being super gay.
But by the way, I do want to
Ask
flag
your question.
real quick. I did hear the question, but all I'm saying is it's an irrelevant
I'm
question,
clear.
and I'm not
Wait,
willing
I'm
to
sorry,
answer
just to be
it.
clear, Archie, can you please mute him?
Sorry,
I'm sorry, can you please mute
retard,
him?
sorry,
I'm sorry, why was I muted, but he isn't muted?
sorry, retard. I know you want me muted. Yeah, you're.
We're gonna do it. This is what we're gonna do, right? So, Evil Destiny, you've heard his question, right? Answer that question, then shoot your own question, just so we can make some fucking progress. This shit is so gay.
Yeah, so what I said is I'm not willing to
I
answer
ain't
his
gonna lie,
question
one, bro,
until he
why
answers
is-
mine, which I asked first, because his question is just a derailed question, right? So what I care about is
Why
the
is Simp
dynamic
on the
being
stage?
linear,
This
right?
nigga
And
just here to
something that
prove
sort
views,
of
bro.
non-linearizes
doing
the
nothing.
dialectic is when he
You're
asks
not
about
debating.
You're
not
derailing,
debating. Go down.
sorry,
People here
derailing,
want-
irrelevant,
Need you.
dumb
Go.
fuck
Wait, real quick,
dipshit
just real
question
quick.
from the
Let's
retard,
just let
right?
Eric finish. Wait, what were you saying? Your like mic was cutting, or not cutting out, but like you're gonna.
Yeah, sorry, the point I was making is just, what my response is to his point is irrelevant, because all we're trying to do right now is figure out what the second premise is of the sound argument that he presumably has. Right now, he might just claim that he doesn't have a sound argument, right? In which case, I'm happy to go down whatever kind of derail pathway that he wants to go down, right? I'm happy to even get Q&A'd myself for an argument against the pro-choice proposition, right? But at the moment of the conversation, right, he was giving a sound argument. He even gave the first premise of it. It would be very strange for him to give the first premise of the sound argument if he
Fair
did take the
point.
view that he had a sound argument, right? So what we're trying to investigate is what the second premise is. And what we're seeing right now is this rabid fucking dog, right, trying to throw out his own
All right,
irrelevant question.
this
And
is
the reason...
I
enough.
just wanna be-
Enough slandering AES with these fucking totally baseless accusations of being rabid. AES.
Okay,
Okay.
bro, I ain't gonna lie. Simp, I
Barely
understand what you're trying to do.
said there was-
Please go down.
Spit out the
Now,
sound.
anyways,
Look, if
as
you
a
wanna
quick
have-
response,
I don't know
I'm
what you're
sorry.
talking. Don't do that. So look, here's the simple thing we can do to just make some sort of progress so it can be a debate. AES, right? He wants you to just lay out the argument. Just, you were making an argument. That is true. So without him interrupting you, lay out your argument and then ask your question.
Bro, this is the most obvious biased fucking mod I've ever seen in my life. You let him ramble for fucking 20 years. I can't even respond to the Ramble Fest. Anyways, back to my point before this
Hurry
random person started
Oh my
moderating.
god,
No,
the
no, no.
crying.
Yo, mute
Wait,
him,
Infinity.
mute him.
Fine, fuck it. Scream at each other more. Scream at each other more.
Archie, please
Alright,
mute him.
listen,
Mute
listen,
both
I
of
got
them,
you.
please.
I got
Mute
you,
both
I got
of
you, I
them.
got
I don't know who invited this dude up. Mute
I
both
got
of
you,
them.
I got you. But right now,
Okay, thank you.
Right now,
So
I think
one,
they're just
I
looking
already
for the
gave
argument.
P2. I'm not about to hold your hand through the conversation. I'm not gonna keep on repeating it, retard. Okay? If you want me to repeat it, I want you to beg. I want you to beg, tier 10 master. Okay? I'm not gonna repeat it again.
Okay.
Respond to the point. I already answered your question.
Wait, no.
Oh,
So,
Jesus.
wait, what he was saying, Infinity, was that even though like he understands it seems important to you, he feels as though it's off point because at the moment he's not entirely sure on what exactly your argument is. So he's just trying to get some clarity on like what it is. I think right now he's like confused on what premise 2 is.
Yeah, I understand that. The entire point is that I repeated P2 8 times, but he couldn't understand because one
Because you were both loud miking, nobody understood you. Stop being autistic. Just say it again.
So
You don't want a debate is the answer. You just don't want to have a debate.
Stop.
You're doing a terrible job. You're doing terrible. Just do the debate.
What
You gotta do the debate.
Even though I didn't even say I was even in the first place, I was giving a reason.
You said you're gonna give a reason. Yeah, when you give a reason verbally, you're giving an argument. Don't be a fucking autist.
Nobody wants to see you already lost a vote.
Who are you talking about? Look, here's what we're gonna do. You are going to now address the argument, or you're gonna stay on fucking mute and Evil Destiny's gonna ramble over you. Evil Destiny's now unmuted. Right? That was just being unbiased. Now we are gonna be biased because you in particular are the one holding up the fucking discussion.
Wait,
Just
wait,
effort. That's it.
Here.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, Archie.
So if
Please
you-
stop letting this nigga talk. He's not saying it. And then secondly, he told me to respond to an argument. There was no argument given. Eric didn't give a single argument. That's how I know Simp isn't tracking.
You're being asked to give the argument.
Yeah, you told me to respond to the argument. There was no argument given. I already gave
You
an
are
argument,
being
idiot.
asked to
Go down.
give
Go
the
down.
argument.
He's not even tracking the moderation. He's not even tracking the moderation. He's not even.
Wait, just real quick. So just to be clear, you said you haven't given the argument yet. Okay, well, like on his screen, he feels as that's the argument. So now that we're on track, that you feel like you haven't. Do you want to like maybe like recapitulate like what you felt the argument was, or maybe give a new argument?
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Wait, Sim. You the indication I gave for P1?
Why would I need to give you the
I'm saying in response to his question about
Oh, he wants a new debate now. He wants a new debate.
Mute
He's not
Eric,
very comfortable with the
mute
current one.
Eric.
Oh, mute him, mute him, mute him, mute him,
Wait, Eric.
mute him,
Moderation.
mute him,
Eric,
guys,
chill
mute
real
him,
quick.
mute
Eric, chill real
him. You're getting dissed.
So Sim, since you want my attention so bad, okay? Can you tell me the response I gave to his question?
Nobody here wants to hear this. Give
let's
your
not.
argument.
I was gonna say.
I'm sorry, so Sim, what was the response that I gave to his question since you want my attention so
Nobody
bad?
here wants to hear this. Give the argument.
Listen, forgive Synth. She was, came on stage. She was being a drooler. Happens. It happens.
Hey,
I
Archie,
think
what
right
did I
now,
miss out
Eric
on?
is
I
just-
just.
So maybe I need to say it louder. Can you tell me the response?
Infinity. Who's?
What is this?
Hey, I just came back from. What did I miss out on, basically?
No.
Did they
Right now, they're
finally get
just
on
trying to
top
like
of the door?
establish what the argument is. But right now, Infinity actually clarified that apparently that wasn't the argument he was giving. So right now, I just thought it'd probably be more productive if he could generate like
so
an
I'm gonna be
argument,
here- I'm
or
gonna be
if
here
not,
for the
then
entire
Eric could
time.
clarify what exactly. he
Also, I
wants,
do
like,
want to make a
Infinity to
comment.
do.
He said, real quick, if I could make a comment real quick. He said he
Unmute
did give
Infinity,
the
by the
second
way, hold on,
premise,
let me
but
just
when I
do
asked him earlier what the second premise was, he said, "You're retarded and you're lost." So it was clear that he wasn't genuinely delivering the second
Just to
premise.
be
So
clear,
what I want to figure
I
out,
said that because that's true. You are retarded and lost. But also alongside that game,
Okay, so, hold
calm
on.
down,
Okay,
Infinity.
so-
Calm down, Infinity.
Let's do. Okay, so hold on. Just to be clear, before we.
P2.
Infinity. Guys, relax, okay? So, basically, since you
Wait,
guys
okay,
are having
bro,
this very
Apollo, I understand
interruptive
what you're trying to
conversation,
do, but
can you
please move
just
Sim
hold
down.
on,
I'm not even gonna cut you off, Apollo.
Infinity. We're gonna do a talking stick, okay?
Move
So,
Sim down.
when
He is
you're talking,
abusing.
He's so terrified of me
oh,
speaking.
I've taken.
I'm
I've
because I'm
taken
trying to
turn.
get the correct mod.
Look,
How am I
Infinity,
terrified as
don't
I'm
worry about
desperately
it. I've
asking
taken
people to get
Infinity.
moved out?
Yeah, so just to be clear in this, Infinity, I've
Yes, I
taken
want
this
people
turn.
who are
because of the
relevant to the
word
debate to be moved down.
second,
Yes.
Infinity, your mic is much louder than mine, so just let me talk, okay? What I'm saying here simply, that in this debate moving forward, what I'm gonna do here is, when you're talking, Eric does not have the privilege to interrupt your point and vice versa.
Wait, no, I
So
don't
you
care
guys
about that.
both
He can
shake hands
interrupt me all he wants. I'm louder than him. Move Sim down.
No, I'm saying he cannot, once I'm here, he cannot interrupt you.
No, 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 no.
It's my server. What is he gonna do?
Interrupt me. He can't interrupt me. He can't do shit. He can't do it to me either way. Even if you were still playing, he can't interrupt me. He can't do it.
Yeah, Infinity. Yeah,
No, I think
you won.
No,
yeah,
I think
congrats.
I think Apollo is saying because of the fact that he doesn't really have like the faculties to overtalk, it might be more linear if it's like.
If that makes Infinity's night better, that's fine.
Yo, I'm
cool.
glad
Still, let's do talking stick.
We move
okay, let's
down?
do talking stick.
No, we're good. We
Sure.
don't talking stick, but can we move Sim down?
I'll sit down. Just do the argument.
If Sim is an
I don't know.
impediment
I'll
towards
already
your
get it.
debate, then that's fine. He's,
No, it's
he's
fine.
down.
She's down.
Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. Me and Arch are gonna be here to monitor this conversation moving forward.
I'm fine with just
So
Archie
who is
moving.
going first?
But what's
What's
the
the point you
response to
guys are
P2
on? Wait.
Yeah, what's
Could I
the
just-
second premise?
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Did you not hear the second premise after I repeated it 10 times?
Sorry. I'm not interested.
I'm sorry. Did you not hear the second premise even
I'm
though I repeated it?
interested. Sorry. Right. What I'm interested in is what the second premise actually is, right? Because presumably the second premise of the argument, right, isn't something like you're lost, right? Now, what is the second premise of the argument, right, where you're not kind of trying to evade and dodge? Dipshit.
Look, I don't understand the language you're using. Maybe evading and dodging
Yeah, it's because
is
you're
in
retarded,
translation
that's why.
for. I'm so why is he speaking? Oh yeah, thank you, moderator. But look, I'm gonna translate it for you. By me evading, you mean me telling you P2 10 times, and now you want to hear for an 11th time to actually stall and come up with a response? I'm sorry. What's the response to P2? If you didn't track, just say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when I say you're dodging, right, the claim is just that you're giving a troll second premise instead of the actual one, dipshit. Right, so it just sounds like you're not really tracking, not only the substance, but also the meta commentary that I delivered, and it sounds like you're also not answering the question. But that's fine, right? If you insist, right, we'll make the second premise. Sorry. We'll make the second premise the troll premise. That's great. All right.
Wait,
so
do you think this
and
is
then
a
you want the
response?
third premise to be I've won. All right. Now what's the fourth premise? If you want to go with the troll premises, dipshit.
Yeah, let's conclude.
Response. What's the fourth premise, dipshit? You want to run away? Yeah, we can conclude. What's the fourth premise?
No, I think I got moved down.
Yeah, let's conclude. You haven't tracked
Okay,
anything.
so the fourth premise is let's conclude. All right, now what's the fifth? Let's conclude.
Wait, I'm sorry. You
All
think
right,
that's
so the
the
fifth
fourth
premise
premise?
is okay, so the fifth premise is I'm sorry. Now what's the sixth?
Wait, you think let's conclude is something that can be a premise?
That's a question, retard. What's the sixth premise?
Wait, I'm sorry. Do you think conclude is something that can be a premise?
That was another question. Right now, wait, yes?
Correct.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes, correct.
Okay, wait,
That's the question. Wait,
No,
so
I'm
are you
kidding.
so? Hold on. Wait, just to be clear. What was the answer to the question?
Yeah, what's the sixth premise, dipshit?
What was the answer to the
What's
question?
the sixth premise, dipshit? Don't
I'm
dodge
sorry,
the
what
question.
was the answer
Right,
to
I
the
asked
question
you
I
what the
asked?
fourth premise was, and you said let's conclude. That's what you said, idiot.
I'm sorry. Do you think that was supposed to be a response to your shitty question?
Wait, I'm sorry.
How
Do you
can
think
I
that's
answer your
supposed to
question if you're dodging mines?
That's exactly what's going on in this conversation. Right, and you're asking derail questions. I'm asking relevant questions. Right,
I'm
that's
sorry.
going to be the difference. Yeah, you are sorry because you've been bitched. You've been bitched into submission. Right. What your fourth premise was, right? You said let's conclude, and then you said, oh well, do you think let's conclude is a premise? Obviously,
I
it's a fucking
understand.
premise. Presumably, that wasn't an answer to the question, right? So let's try to get the sixth premise, right, of the sound argument that you claimed you had, right? So what's the sixth premise?
This nigga is so corny.
Yeah, the reason you're moaning in
I
this
already
conversation is
gave
because
the
I'm.
premises. Can you respond? Can you respond? Can you respond?
But
I'm sorry. What was the response?
Wait, sorry. Is this the entirety of the argument? What you've given so far?
Wait, what was the response?
Is this the argument you've given so far? Yes or no?
You're stumbling over yourself while
Sorry,
trying to mimic
is
me.
this the argument so far? Yes or no? Right, so that's a dodge, right? So is this the argument so far? Yes or no? So that's a dodge, right? So is this the argument so far? Yes or no? Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, so that's 4.
Wait. All right, let's just get clear on something. I think this will make it like a lot more linear. So, like right now, what's on his screen, Infinity? Do you think that's like your argument? If not, you could like re-clarify and make some like. Yeah.
Bro, I said it was my argument 20 times I tracking. I told him my justification. I told him my motivation as well as my justification. Unfortunately, I even told him my argument when she didn't try, even though I didn't even agree to give an argument. I gave an argument.
No, I was just asking, do you think like
So wait,
this
wait,
right
before,
here-
hold on, Archie, before you
No,
unmute
the
Eric, I
premises
just want to
typed
get clear
out
on a couple of
are
things.
not the premises that I named other than P1.
Okay, cool. So hold on. So just to be clear on this, right? So you say basically that the argument that Eric has on his screen, that's not your argument, correct? That's a straw man, right?
Yo, your mic
Infinity,
is like
can you hear me?
cutting out.
Am I bugging out?
No. Wait.
Oh,
I
it's
think-
Infinity's mic.
I think you may have to go down and. What the?
Wait, Archie, is it my
Yeah,
mic's
yeah.
fault or is it Infinity's mic? Which
No.
one is it?
No, it's. I think everyone's good now. So just like Apollo
Okay, cool.
asked you. So right there, what's on the screen? Like that. That's not your argument. That's a straw man. Yeah. Alright. Real quick. Wait, just real quick. What's on Eric? What's on Eric's stream? Like you consider this like not your argument, like besides P1, right?
Yo,
All right.
Okay, so what you're gonna do here, just moving forward, Arch, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna basically tell Eric to let's just start over afresh, right? So that's not his argument. Let's not go into this meta derail where you basically try to gain rhetoric points, and all of that bullshit, that rhetorical posture bullshit. So we're gonna just basically delete that argument and just start over afresh. So Infinity is clarifying for both me and Eric and the audience that that's not his argument. So we're gonna start over, Eric. So we're going to unmute Eric, and then Eric, you can start over by trying to formulate his argument, and from there we can have a substantive conversation.
Right, yeah,
Archie?
you said the first premise. Yeah, he says he's keeping the first premise, so let's just start with the second. What's the
Okay,
second
yeah.
premise, aesthetic? That's a dodge. That's a dodge.
I'm sorry, it's a dodge because I didn't respond
Dodge
yet.
to the question. That's a dodge to the question. What's the second premise?
I already told you, P2. Do you want me to hold your hand through the conversation?
Oh, wait, sorry, I thought it wasn't the argument that you delivered except the first premise. Are you walking that back?
Maybe you're retarded or something, but me telling you P2 doesn't entail that you actually tried
yes or no?
P2.
Sorry, yes or no?
P2 doesn't mean that you actually understood what I
so
said.
Yes or no? Alright, so that's a dodge. Right,
So look, the
yes or no?
justification is going to be off of a seeming, and then
Alright, so
off of
that's
the
a dodge.
intuition. The name is going to be the account that it has relative to its
Yeah, try not to
explanatory
talk
power.
about philosophy. You're not very good at it. Is the answer yes or no? To the
I'm sorry.
question?
So what was the response to what I just said?
Alright, so that's a dodge. Right, so is the answer to the question yes or no?
Right?
Alright, so that's a dodge. Right, so is the answer to the question
Yeah,
yes
but
previously yes or
wait,
no?
just to be
I'm
clear,
sorry.
I
So what's
think
the response to the
right now
seeming?
Yeah, you are sorry. Right, what is the answer yes or no, Dodger?
Okay,
I
look,
think
so I'm
right
going to
now
say
we're
this
just trying
again.
to clarify.
Pro-choice is most in line with egoism. Egoism is going to be motivated / justified off of the intuition and the seeming that it has.
Wait, just hold on. Real quick, I think Eric's just concerned with, at the moment, with what P2 is. But if you feel like that's not relevant, you could like explain it. But I think that right now is what's on the table.
Yeah, so what's the second premise, right? He said he can repeat.
Yeah, I
it, but
understand what
said
he
earlier,
deems to
something
be
that he claimed
relevant,
wasn't part of
but
his argument.
like you said, I don't think that's relevant because I've already answered the question, okay? But I'm sorry, where at all did I say I was even going to be giving an argument? Even though I did give an argument, but where did I even say I was going to be giving an argument?
Premise?
The response to the point that I
Sorry,
gave,
what's the
at least the
second premise?
justification for
Sorry,
pro-choice.
what's the second premise? What's the second premise, Dodger?
Wait, okay, RD, just to be clear, because I'm pretty sure you've been here since the start.
second
Mute him real
premise?
quick.
Filibustering.
I'm sorry, can you please mute him? Thank you. So please mute as well. I have a question. Is it not the case that the topic we both established in the VC is whether or not I have a sufficient reason to believe, or I apologize, to be pro-choice? Was that not the topic? Does the reason I have
it
qualify as justification? Was that not the topic?
Like the initial thing you said, I agree that was the topic. I think right now, like Eric's just concerned with what P2 is, but you had responded by saying that like you already gave it.
Yes, I understand what he's concerned about. It's about his retardation as
I
being
know that
given.
you're talking past each other.
I've already given
Hold on,
justification
Infinity,
for my
what's
position.
happening? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Arch, what's happening here is simply that, of course, Eric is asking for the premise 2 of the argument, the deductive argument, but Infinity is not given premise 2, given the justification for premise 1.
No, I know.
Right? They're talking past each other in that sense. Now, here's what we're going to do moving forward. So it's very obvious that Infinity does not want to play into Eric's statistical shtick. He doesn't want to play into like his little script, as you want to call it. So I'm going to ask you this, Infinity. Do you want to give like an argument where you state all the premises individually, or do you want to just basically give like a, I don't know, like a argument which is not formalized? Like, what's your approach moving
I'm giving an
forward?
informal
Because
argument.
this is not going to progress the conversation anything whatsoever.
He's not responding to.
Okay, so you insist on giving an informal argument, but Eric insists on formalizing that informal argument, correct? I'm lagging?
No.
No, you're not
Yeah,
lagging.
you're correct there. I'm lagging.
Can you hear me now? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, just to clarify, before I unmute Eric, you insist on giving an informal argument while Eric insists on formalizing this argument, correct? Hello? He's on mute. I'll just unmute Eric in the meantime.
No, he's unmuted.
Okay. Because if that's the case, I can just formalize Infinity's
No.
argument.
Infinity got moved down. Wait, hold on. Let me bring him back.
Right?
Oh, moved him down.
I had no idea.
Argument, right? I just want to.
Look, it's probably Sim trolling or something. But look,
Yeah,
to
so
respond to your
Infinity,
question,
I was just asking you.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I was just asking
that
you
is the case.
basically, is there the case? Okay, gotcha. So just give your informal argument, just articulate the argument or the justification you have for your position, and then me or Eric can just formalize that argument for you, okay? And then we can
Look,
just
I
get to the substance.
but I'm not here to hold
That's
his
fine?
hand. As I said, pro-choice is best in line.
That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to formalize it.
Bro,
That's
can I
fine.
finish?
You don't have to do that.
Bro, can I finish, nigga? Okay, so my
I
normal
wasn't even
position
talking
is
to the last
obviously
sentence.
going to be backed off of the seeming intention I have, and the seeming is just talking about accounts of explanatory power relative to real-world situations. What's the response?
Okay, so Eric, did you track all of that what he just said? And if so, we can just put like a basic modus ponens argument, and then from there on, you attack each individual premises. He references seeming and explanatory power to justify his position. So we can just put this together in the modus ponens because he doesn't want to formalize the argument, and you insist on formalizing the argument. So yeah, let's go. Eric.
So we're gonna say if the pro-choice view accommodates the retards' intuitions.
I'm sorry, I don't think that's what I said.
Power, then, and all I mean.
I'm sorry, I don't think that's what I said.
All I mean by the retards is infinities.
That's not even close to what I said. I never said anything about pro-choice being something that's motivated by my intuition. Can you try? Anybody ever hear me say intuitive justification?
Sorry, what was the conclusion?
Wait, I'm sorry, is the type random stuff? I got that.
Sorry, what was the conclusion of the argument that you're delivering, dipshit? Yeah, it's not rhetorical. What's the conclusion of the argument you're delivering, dipshit?
I don't know who keeps.
Right, so now if the conclusion of the argument, yeah, so if what you were giving an argument for was egoism there, right, which I charitably interpret you as not doing that, I charitably interpret you as giving an argument for the pro-choice view, right, then...
I'm not giving an argument for egoism. I'm giving an argument as to why I hold to a seeming relative to egoism. As I said.
Sorry, I was interested in you giving an argument for the debate proposition. Right now, the debate
I'm sorry.
proposition is
Can you...
just this, right? And this is the debate proposition Infinity signed off on. Infinity's reason for being pro-choice fits the criteria for justification, right? So this person is so retarded, right? I'll just end this for a second. They agreed to this fucking debate proposition, right? So now what we're doing is getting a sound argument for that proposition. Right now, what we got there was something like an Infinity ramble, right? Where he said, oh, you didn't track what I said. And then it turned out by him claiming that I didn't track what he said, right? He was just saying something irrelevant, right? Now, let's just try getting an answer to the question. Right? What is the first premise of the argument, right? And it can be an informal argument. Informal arguments have fucking premises, moron.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Right?
What's the argument as to why what I said was unsound?
Sorry, retard. I didn't claim it was unsound, dipshit.
It's the case that what I said was unsound. I already gave justification for each premise.
Sorry, I don't take a view. Sorry, I don't take a view.
I'm not here to hold your hand. I already gave the informal justification. Which is today's topic, by the way.
Because it's not even clear what the inference is, right? So what's the first premise of the inference, dipshit?
I'm sorry, I don't understand why I keep being muted when I was the one who was speaking.
Yeah.
Can you please mute him? For some reason, he's allowed to interrupt me, but I can't interrupt him even though it was my turn to speak. Yeah, thank you. So I already informed justification. I'm not here to hold your hand, as I've said, like 4 times now? So what's the response to the informal justification? If you can't track or do anything outside your script, you can say that. But don't embarrass yourself by repeating the same question. The script doesn't work on people who already beat you, okay? So I'm going to say this again. The script doesn't work in this community, okay? Maybe against low tiers like Shikio or something like that, but not against me. So what's the response to the informal justification I gave? I actually gave 2 types of informal justification, okay? What's the response to both of them?
Oh shit, he said the script doesn't work. No, I'm just gonna not ask the question anymore.
I'm
Not.
sorry, the script isn't asking a question.
You think that would... You were like desperately trying to get me not to repeat the question. I'm sorry, do you think that would work against me? Oh, the script doesn't work. Oh, nice try, retard. What's the first premise? Come on.
I'm kidding, by the way, Shikio, I love you. But 1, the script isn't asking questions. How do you not even know your own script? The script is repeating questions and then saying that I dodged because when I try to answer the question, you either cut me off or you ignore the answer, okay? That doesn't work. So what's the response to the informal justification I gave? Asking for a full version of the argument, even though I told you I'm not going to abide by your request, isn't going to be something which rhetorically upscales you. Nobody thinks you're winning, okay?
Holy fucking shit, wait, I figured out why you named yourself Infinity. It's because you have the talent of rambling infinitely, saying an infinite amount of retarded shit, and infinitely fucking dodging. Holy fuck, what's the first premise? Don't run away. What are you doing? What's happening? What's the first premise?
You gotta go to ChatGPT and put some shit
and
in.
then you lie, and then you lie, right? And then you lie. What's the first premise? What's the first premise? What's the first premise, Infinity?
Right. That's the question. I need to dodge the question and try to use
That was the worst rhetorical response.
It's getting a little rowdy. Okay. So, listen. All right. It seems Eric's asking for the first premise. Do you have any grievances with such?
Yeah. So he gets whatever he wants. But I already gave the informal justification. And look, Apollo, did we not discuss how I was going to give some type of informal argument or informal justification, and then you may potentially formalize it? Even if you don't formalize it, is it not the case that
for example,
Apollo, hold on. Eric, no. So you have a lot of questions, but let me engage in this anyway. I have a question for you. So data, is it not the case that you can understand? Is your skill limited?
You gotta run out if you answer them.
Wait, why is it the case that my sensory ability is telling me that you're going above 20?
Right, stop dodging the question.
Wait, hold on. Why is it the case that my sensory ability is telling me you're going above 20? Why is my sensory ability telling me you're above 20? Why is my sensory ability?
Now Infinity's finna get to packing right now. Now Infinity.
Okay, so Archie, good job right there. Yeah, I like that, Archie. That's good. So let's just get things back on track because it's becoming an ape fest. So just relax, guys. So yes, Eric. So he's not gonna give a formalized argument. Yeah, what's up?
I was such a tough moderator.
Give me a sec. Okay, so now Eric, so he's not going to give a formalized argument. He's going to articulate this argument in natural language, and so, as if already shook hands on previously, you just do the formalization for him. So even if he articulates the argument in a way where it comes out as formally invalid, you're going to basically formalize the argument in a way where it becomes valid, and then from there on, you substantively attack each individual premises and the connection between the premises and the conclusion. So that's kind of like how it's going to go from moving forward, because this whole what's premise 1, what's premise 2 is not going to progress this debate in any meaningful fashion whatsoever, which is going to actually create any productivity. So let's just unmute both of these guys, and then hopefully we can get onto some actual substance, right?
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, could you get quick on man on Mono and Shikio?
But when I'm asking him what the first
before
sorry?
Can we
at the moment
get on
give an argument that's valid, right? I'm just fine with him saying something that just sounds like it would be the first premise of the argument, right? And then we can make it formally valid together, right? Since he doesn't know any logic, presumably, right? So now let's kind of decipher your loose cloud of thoughts, right? Just say what the first premise is. It doesn't have to be formally valid. I'll make it valid for you, right? What is the first premise, Infinity? And
you are unironically one of the worst debaters I've ever seen in my life.
Probably haven't seen many then. Yeah, I mean,
let me know when you in bed, Shikio Mono.
Yeah, I mean, you've been blowing the fuck out here. I think you've been curb stomped.
By the way, the reason why he's anymore is because he's not confident. The reason why he's not confident is because his script has been defeated. He's not abiding by his script, so he's not loud anymore.
Oh
He's
shit,
whispering.
he did it,
He's
guys!
whispering. He's not returning it as well.
Oh my god!
He's
He
killing
did it! He did it! Oh, Infinity did it! What?
Alright. So let's try that again. Just a little lower, please. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
So script 1 is defeated. Let's move on to the second script. Go ahead.
You've been fucked in this debate.
I'm sorry. What's the response to the informal justification?
What's the response to my rumble?
wait.
What's the response?
I ain't gonna lie, that shit
Also,
sucks as fuck.
also,
Doing that while I have a
mic-
better mic than you and work.
I actually was gonna say, like, your mic is a little bit, like, peaking at a certain end, so it's a bit hard to hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Alright. Is Shikyo on ban, bro? I'm ban mono too.
Hey, Infinity. While I've ended my stream, I sort of have a delivery for you, Infinity. What premise do you deny? Huh? What premise do you deny, Infinity? There's a delivery, Infinity.
I ain't
What
gonna lie,
premise do you
bro.
deny?
You was a grown
Delivery
ass
for
man.
Infinity! Delivery for Infinity!
You are
Delivery
right.
for
You
Infinity!
act like an evil
Delivery
version
for
of another
Infinity!
man.
What premise do you deny? What premise do you deny?
Alright. Well, I mean, yeah. So, like, did you see the syllogism that he sent in chat?
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, you gotta stop, Eric. You're a grown ass man cosplaying as someone from Nebraska. But actually, hold on, let me confirm this. Where is Destiny from? Hold on.
Wait, do it just real quick. Wait, did you see what he had sent in chat?
Wow, you're a grown ass man cosplaying as someone from Nebraska. No.
Alright.
Bro, Destiny, what's the
Wait, real
response to
quick.
the informal justification I gave? Go ahead, bro. Like,
Wait,
this is
actually,
bad.
sure. Well, actually, did you
Is
see, like,
this
the
the
syllogism
response?
that he had sent in chat? Well, yeah, he was asking, like, if you had, like, any issue with any of the premises.
What's the argument for P1?
Yeah, I've delivered it, dipshit.
I'm asking where, which is what I asked it was.
Yeah, I just gave an argument for the first premise, idiot. You're
Where
not even trying.
This?
In the fucking
This is
chat,
the argument?
idiot. Moron. Yeah, A2 is the argument for P1 of A1. Fucking moron. Well, now you're stuttering.
And now you're cold laughing.
Wait, what's the argument for P2? Because I hope this
It's
is an argument.
analytically true, dipshit. It's part of the definition.
I'm not talking about the argument of. Yo, maybe you're retarded. We're not talking about
Oh,
this
you're
P2.
retarded.
We're talking about the argument for P2. What's the argument for P2 here?
Yeah, I already have an argument for that asshole. There. Yeah, I just sent it, fucking idiot.
I know your internet is dog shit and takes fucking forever for an argument to load, for fucking text to load. Yeah, what premise do you reject for A3?
What? Ain't gonna lie, that shit's ass, bro.
What?
What premise do you reject with A3? Country? Totally real laugh from Infinity. What premise do you reject with A3?
P1?
Yeah, okay, I'll give an argument for that. There you go. Dumb fuck.
This nigga is talking in silence.
What premise do you reject of A4?
What's the argument for P1?
For P1 of A4? Explain it. Explain it,
What's
Infinity.
the argument for
Explain what
P1?
P1 is saying. Explain
sorry,
it. You're
what's
asking for an
the
argument.
argument for P1?
Explain it. Explain it, Infinity. Explain it. Infinity, explain it. You want an argument? Explain it. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. What's the argument for P1? He doesn't know. Explain it. Explain it. Explain it. What's the argument for P1? Explain it.
Quick. Okay. So, like, it seems just asking for, like, the argument for P1. If you feel it's, like, obviously, like, redundant, you can explain why, but...
Yeah, well, I think explaining the reasoning might not even be enlightening to him, right? Because it's not even clear that he understands what the first premise is saying, right? So what I'm looking for is for him to explain what the first premise is saying, right?
Infinity?
Yeah, so
Explain
even if it is the case that I don't
Explain it.
understand P1, I can still request an argument for P1, retard.
Explain it.
No one's denying
So,
that you can
let's start
request an
with the
argument for a premise you don't understand, fucking moron. Explain it.
But then why bring it up? What's the bringing up?
Explain
me not
it.
understanding
Explain it,
P1?
Infinity.
Because I don't
He
even
doesn't
understand
know what
P1.
it's saying. He doesn't know what it's
I
saying.
don't.
You're asking for an
You know
argument. You don't even know what
says?
it's saying.
Can you please unmute him? Or, I apologize. Can you please mute him? Okay, thank you. So he says, by the way, everybody, the claim is that I don't know what it says. If there is a presupposition against the existence of entities that are explanatory, dispensable, as well as ontologically queer, then P1 of A3. I'm sorry. So I can't understand what it says. I apologize. I can read what it says. I do know what it says. But that point is disproven.
Was I asking you to stutter through reading it? Or was I asking you to explain it? Explain it.
I'm sorry.
Explain
What's
it,
the
Infinity.
argument?
It's unlocked. Explain it. Explain it.
I'm sorry.
Explain
what's
it,
the argument?
Infinity. Don't dodge. Explain it. Explain it,
What's the
Infinity.
argument?
Explain it. Explain it.
What's the argument?
Infinity.
Hold on.
Explain it.
Okay, wait, Eric, I think he's saying that, like, I guess he's asking why he has to even be of understanding of it, and just to, like, you can explain why that's, like, redundant if you want, or if you can, like, give another premise here.
Yeah, I can explain why it's redundant really quickly. It's actually very easy to, right? Which is understand what it's saying, right? They wouldn't be so retarded as to ask for an argument for that premise, right? Now, notice how what the premise is saying is that if there's a presumption against the existence of entities that are explanatorily dispensable and ontologically queer, instance of an entity, namely, morality in the strict sense, right? That's explanatorily dispensable and ontologically queer. So, of course, if there's a general presumption against the existence of entities that are explanatorily dispensable and ontologically queer, then there will be a presumption against morality in the strict sense, right? Now, of course, you could request the argument that it's explanatorily dispensable and ontologically queer, right? But that's something that's completely detached from giving an argument that establishes the first premise of that argument, right? So that's why I was asking to explain it. It's because if he wasn't retarded, he would be able to understand that the premise is obviously true, right? Such that it's analytic, right? And then when he understood it was analytic, he would realize that it would look retarded for him to explain it, right? So now what I want Infinity to do, right? Since I've already delivered the reasoning, right? Since, he's not going to explain the first premise, explain the reasoning that I just gave for the first premise, fucking moron.
I'm sorry, so please mute him while I'm speaking. So what you did was repeat yourself, and then when you say it's analytically true, obviously I'm questioning P1 because I don't grant it being analytically true. Now, if you have some type of unconventional semantics when it comes to P1, that's completely fine. Anyways, niggas, I'm running away. Anyways, you can give some type of idiosyncratic view when it comes to what everything in P1 means. That's irrelevant. Sorry. How am I echoing, nigga? Is this I'm streaming? Hello, do you hear me, Archie?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I can hear you.
So I'm going to ask once again, what's the argument for P1? When you say, oh, you could be questioning this part of P1. Obviously, if I'm questioning P1, there's something I disagree with. You don't know if I disagree with P1 or the presuppositions P1 makes, which are required for P1 to be true. So when you say, well, that wouldn't be relevant to P1 if you question P1, obviously that's just not true, because when you make presuppositions, retard, they're going to be required for P1 to be true. So what's going to be the argument for presuppositions that you're making?
Well, I mean, that was just really well articulated there. So I already explained it, right? You are incapable of repeating it back because you're retarded, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, sorry, mute him, Max, mute him. Yeah, so the motivation for accepting, you're asking me for the argument for the first premise, moron, right? That's what you've been asking me for. Right, now to explain the argument for the first premise, right, which is, by the way, I'll just paste it right here. Right, so if it's the case that there's a presumption against the existence of entities that are explanatorily dispensable as well as ontologically queer, then P1 of A3, right, if you would just kind of scroll up, right, you would notice that the first premise is just saying, if morality in the strict sense is ontologically queer and morality in the strict sense is explanatorily dispensable, then morality in the strict sense doesn't exist, right? So notice how the first premise is just an instance of the general principle that's stated in the first premise of A3, right? So the general principle that the first premise of A4 states, right, A3 is just merely an instance of that, right, which is is why I pointed out that it is the case that he's fundamentally retarded and that he's fundamentally confused on these issues. I'm happy to move to conclusions because holy fucking shit, this was an easy dunk. What he did is he said, oh, what's the argument for the first premise? Thinking that it was some sort of dunk, immediately realizing that I already had the reasoning fucking equipped incredibly easily. And then when I deliver the reasoning, he's incapable of repeating it back. And by the way, that's after him not being able to repeat what the first premise is even fucking saying. There's so many layers of confusion that we're seeing that are forming this cacophony that is me blowing you the fuck out in this conversation. Right, so I just gave the reasoning for the first premise, right? I explained to you why it is the case that the first premise is analytically true, right, with respect to A4, right? So now what I want is for you to give, right, the reasoning that I gave, right, for you to repeat back the reasoning that I offered, right, and I want you to do so without stumbling over yourself, because even when you just read the first premise, you were stumbling over yourself, right? You're a fucking retard, you've been stomped in this conversation. Let's try to get an answer to the question, Infinity.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So one, look, the reason why you jumped to this question, or I apologize, this argument is because you couldn't even respond to the informal justification I gave. So the informal justification I gave is something which seemingly still stands due to your lack of a response. Secondly, by the way, I gave two types of informal justifications that have yet to be responded to based on motivation proposition. So pro-choice just has an established concrete backbone that you have yet to respond to, okay? And everybody's going to realize when they watch the recording that you couldn't respond to informal justifications that I gave and the motivation that I gave. So you jump to this shitty ass argument that nobody grants. So I'm going to ask once again, what is the argument for the presuppositions that P1 makes, or in other words, establishes? And if it is the case presuppositions have no argument, and seemingly P1 isn't something that is actually true. You repeating and explaining what P1 is doesn't give justification. Explanation is not justification in this case. Justification in this context. So I'm going to ask once again, one, what is the justification you have for P1, specifically the presuppositions that P1 makes, which would, for example, a principle that I don't grant? And then secondly, please listen to this, I don't even grant that the argument is sound. I don't grant that the argument is sound at all. So what's going to be a response to that? And don't just say, oh, you stumbled over yourself. That isn't a response. That isn't justification for what I'm asking for.
Yeah, I mean, I already gave it. I mean, we can conclude.
Okay, yeah, let's conclude. Okay. I'm sorry, you want to conclude off of saying what P1 means? Wait, that's a question for you, Eric. So your justification for P1 is explaining what P1 means. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
that's the justification?
I'll explain why you're being retarded in the conclusions. It sounds like you're terrified of ending the debate because your performance has been dog shit. Stomach, by the way, you're retarded.
That shit was so ass.
Yeah, give your
We can conclude
conclusion,
real
big
quick.
guy.
As a quick conclusion, look, I'm sorry, I don't think I was done. Please mute him. Look, as a quick conclusion, he couldn't respond to the types of informal justification that I gave, which is why he jumped to this point. He realized he was losing terribly. Everybody in VC chat agreed he was losing terribly, which is why I'm winning the fucking post. I gave informal justification. Destiny, you have no war, I ain't gonna lie. Calm down, bro. You're not cold. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I gave informal justification. I even gave motivation. He didn't respond to the intuitive justification. He didn't respond to the seemings that I use when it comes to accounting for situations within society, etc. He didn't respond to any of this. So it is the case that off of my justification, and review based on where it's justified, I apologize, my pro-choice. So I win a debate. Yay! Now, so after he jumped from my argument, he realized he couldn't defeat it, which there's multiple reasons why he couldn't defeat it. One, you can't defeat this argument. It's just obviously true. Secondly, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He hasn't read anything. And then thirdly, finally, he didn't track it. Even though I repeated it 20 times, he didn't track it a single time, which is why I tried to dodge and jump to this shitty ass argument that he gave, which one, he didn't justify the soundness. So even if it was the case that he did give justification for P1, which he didn't, by the way, there was not a single level of justification for P1 other than the explanation of what P1 means, which everybody understands P1. I just didn't feel obligated to answer the question, which was the following: what does P1 mean? Because it's irrelevant. It isn't rhetorical. The only person who is rhetorical is fucking Yanni, who dated Finboy Meyer for 2 years. Nobody thinks you're rhetorical, Eric. Okay? So what you did was give a shitty, lackluster explanation of P1, no justification for P1, and then secondly, even if it was the case, because this is what teachers do, they give hypotheticals just in case. Even if it was the case that you gave justification for P1, which no, there was no justification, then you didn't give any justification for any other premises that you laid out, which is why they lack soundness. Okay? The reason why they lack soundness, at least seemingly, is because there seems to lack justification. Maybe I have to use a different voice because clear that you lost. You're not rhetorical. You're embarrassed today, Erik. I love you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I love you too, Infinity. You know, it was a really fun discussion there. That was a good little back and forth. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty fun. I guess I sort of want to conclude by recapping the debate, you know, as you typically do with conclusions. Yeah, so I guess what happened there is he chose the debate proposition to be the proposition that Infinity's reason for being pro-choice fits the criteria for justification. Right, I asked him for a sound argument that concludes with the proposition, right? He went along and delivered the first premise, right? Then he delivered a troll second and third premise.
You muted, by the
That was
way.
a wonderful debate. Shout out Hyde Cake Mouth. You know, yeah, love you guys. Wonderful debate.
Sorry guys, I'm back. Yeah, all I was going to say there is, yeah, so I guess what I did is, you know, ask for a sound argument for the debate proposition. You know, we got the first premise, right? The second premise was kind of delivered as a troll, and then we got some, you know, troll second, third, fourth, fifth premises and so on, right? Or, you know, some of them you might not even call premises plausibly, right? Because it would just be something like, you know, let's debate or whatever, right? So, yeah, so I guess, you know, with respect to that sort of portion of the debate, I don't think he did particularly well. He kind of kept on dodging the question, right? Apollo and I even extended this very kind of generous offer to him where we would formalize the argument for him, right? And he still sort of ran away from the question, right? So afterwards, right, when I realized that he's just going to get completely stomped, right, as we keep on going down this pathway, right, as he was, right, and that we weren't going to extract anything further from his thick skull, right, what I did is I actually delivered a sound argument that establishes the proposition that it's false that abortion is morally permissible, right? And then he kept on asking arguments for the premises, right? And then eventually we got to A4, right, which is just saying if there is a presumption against the existence of entities that are explanatorily dispensable as well as ontologically queer, then P1 of A3, right? And then what happened as a result of that, right, I asked him to explain what the first premise is. Why did I do that, right? Well, it's because Infinity is a retard, right? And he's incapable of explaining propositions that he's asking for arguments for, right? So he asks, what's the argument for that? But he doesn't actually know what proposition he's asking for an argument for, right? Which was just kind of a bad look throughout the course of that discussion, right? Or discussion. And then, yeah, I guess a further point to be made there is I actually did deliver the reasoning. He said that all I did was repeat it, which is, you know, why I said that we could conclude. The justification that I gave is that the antecedent of the first premise states something that is a general principle that's instantiated in the first premise of A3. And so if that's right, if that's what the antecedent of the first premise is doing, right, then the conditional will just be true, right? And that's not repeating what the first premise is saying, right? Because the first premise isn't saying that what the you know, P1 of A3 is an instantiation of the principle stated in the antecedent of the first premise of A4, right? So that would just be a bit of a blunder there, right? So yeah, I think that we had a good faith conversation there. I really enjoyed that one. I think that, you know, we you know, started running around in circles for a little bit, and we had a little bit of a spat and a little bit of a battle, but I think that was really fun. Yeah. Have a good one, pal.
You know,